Welcome to the Liberated Feminine Podcast. I'm Lucy Lampe, your host, and in today's episode, we're talking about how a well-loved woman glows different. She just does. She does. Her nervous system is at ease. Her heart feels secure and held and seen and loved and accepted. Her mind can focus on the things that she is here to create because she can soften so deeply. But this is the big but. It doesn't come from the places that you might think. Because a well-loved woman, first of all, has remembered that she is already chosen. She is not soft and well-loved and glowing because her partner is loving her well. She is first and foremost able to soften and open and be in this space in herself and her life because she has remembered that she is chosen by life, by God, by creation itself. And she aligns herself with the people, places, things, opportunities, etc., that are congruent with her choosedness, with her choosing herself. A woman who does not choose herself, in the context of relationship, let's define this, is likely to be with someone who also doesn't fully choose her. Or, to take this even deeper, is likely to be with someone who, on the karmic path and the soul perspective of this, is there to be a helper for her to remember to choose herself, for her to remember that she is chosen. What happens to that relationship, that's beside the point at this stage. But that person is there to help her learn how to choose herself. The second reason that a woman is glowing, that a woman glows different when she is well loved, is because her embodiment of knowing that she is chosen is reflected to her in her relationship sooner or later. And if it isn't, she has the anchoring into that source of love to walk away. Case in point, this is what happened with me. Now, I learned how to choose myself within a specific period of my marriage, my previous relationship, where I did not feel chosen, where I was constantly pushing my edges to figure out, okay, is this desire for monogamy in that example coming from my wound, or is it coming from this deep place in me that knows this is what I'm here for, this is what best supports what my soul is here to create in this life. And as I shared in an episode, a previous episode, the one right before this one actually, during the time that we did, after opening that relationship, close it again, I felt the most softened and safe that I had yet in that relationship of 17 years of marriage. And that was the year where I created not only the most financial abundance, but the most momentum and growth and beautiful memories with our kids of traveling and doing these things that were life goals for a long time. And that period of time gave me a taste of what it would be like to soften. Interestingly, right after the divorce, coming into my own full sovereignty of, standing on my own 2 feet and not identifying with the longevity of my marriage, the struggles that we had overcome, the things that I had actually created an identity around, that when that relationship came to an end, I was afraid that it would invalidate all of that. And newsflash, it doesn't. It doesn't invalidate any of the growth. If your relationship ends, it doesn't invalidate the love that was real in it, the growth that happened, the purpose that it served. It came to a completion. But there was during that period of time too, me choosing myself was more reflected back to me through my ex-husband than it ever had been. Because him working through his things, going through the things that he was, navigating, even through that, there was something that was evoked in him through my embodiment that allowed us to have this beautiful year. That no matter what the inner conflict he was going through in that time, there was an undeniable reverence for me as a woman that until the point where, as I mentioned in the previous episode, there was a point of psychosis or losing touch with reality induced by something that he took, that he was never the same after that. And I knew that it was time to go, that it was not my job to nurse him hopefully back to some state of being able to be a father to our children and a husband, but that was the completion of our relationship. So I won't go deep into that. I did share more about that in the previous episode if you're curious. But yes, number 2 is that point of your embodiment. When you embody this remembrance of choosing yourself and that you are innately chosen, just as you exist, as you are, just simply for existing, you walk different. You embody a different energy. You emit a different frequency. You command a different level of respect and reverence and honor. And if your surroundings are no longer aligning with that, because it's just the other people and beings involved have their own choice and will too, then you have the courage and the strength, the trust to walk away. Number 3, and third reason that a well-loved woman glows different is because the partner that does align with the frequency of her embodiment amplifies the well-lovedness that already exists. And this is definitely what I've experienced in my partnership now, that my current partner and the father of my child that's due a couple months from now, our child, which I never imagined that I would be having more kids. Maybe I'll have a different episode on that. And actually, if you want to hear more on that, check out the episode on the podcast with Priscilla Ami about conscious conception and spirit babies, because I do share more about my journey with having my tubal ligation and then having it reversed over 8 years later and getting pregnant, having a miscarriage and then getting pregnant again. So more on that there. But what I noticed with Brendan is that he really amplified and was such a clear mirror of the ways that I love myself. And what's so beautiful about this that is so unexpected is there have been so many moments within myself of celebration, noticing the difference between who I was when I didn't feel worthy of being complimented or being celebrated, didn't feel like I felt like I had to earn something, work for something harder before I could be worthy of it, things like that. And when he would just reflect back to me the healing of these different wounds, it was really powerful. Like, it's right there. It's undeniable in physical form, reflecting back to me the ways that I choose myself, the ways that I am well loved by life itself. And it is an experience that I just can't quite put into words. But that is another reason that a woman glows different when she's well loved. And finally, the fourth point that I want to share is a woman glows different when she no longer has to spend energy either regulating or maintaining or trying to hold the safety of the climate in the relationship, whether that be emotionally, spiritually, energetically. When my system didn't have to be in that scanning mode of, okay, what state is my partner in now? How is that going to affect everybody? Is the tornado coming again? Can we relax a little bit? And it wasn't just me, but actually the kids as well. So there was a deeply felt in our nervous systems, a deeply felt shift after the end of the relationship. And again, there is a piece that might question if this is you. When you are no longer in a dynamic where you have to be scanning and your nervous system is in that vigilance, where if you feel a grief around that, that's normal. For us, we had a period of grieving where, we questioned, does this mean that we don't love him? Does this mean that there wasn't peace, that we didn't feel peace? And no, it doesn't invalidate your love for anyone or the experience that you had. It reveals that there was so much more peace available, that there was a lot more softening available once you didn't have to have that constant scanning. Even in our best moments, even in our best year of the whole relationship, there was still something in me kind of knew that at any moment there could be an incident, there could be something that like triggered him into a certain state, even if it wasn't the plant medicine, because things had kind of shifted in his brain chemistry as well. So when you, especially as a woman, and I'm not going to argue, it's not about gender roles and or genders, period, but the physiology of the female body, especially, even more so than the physiology of a male body, and the hormones and everything involved. When we no longer have to regulate the energetic climate, emotional climate of a relationship, we soften and we take on this glow. We radiate more because we are no longer leaking or wasting energy doing that, and instead we're able to channel that energy in ways that grow life, in ways that metaphorically are growing more flowers and more in your garden. Instead of spending all this time trying to pull out weeds and, oh my God, there's another weed. That's actually my favorite metaphor for this. Imagine a life where you are constantly pulling out weeds, and maybe you get to plant some seeds and some things start to sprout and you're like, yay, and you get so excited with little sproutlings, and that's beautiful. But then you get to experience this reality where you don't have to worry about the weeds anymore. You found a way to like really clear that out. And not only are your little sproutlings sprouting and growing even more, but you're able to grow this immense, gorgeous, breathtaking garden that you receive nourishment from, that you can eat from, that you can enjoy the beauty of it, all of the above. And that is the difference. That is what it feels like. And no wonder you get to glow different in that. I've had a lot of people commenting on, you're glowing different in this relationship. You're glowing different in this pregnancy. And I've got to tell you, it's because of these 4 things, because of these 4 points. And these are all observations too that I've made with other women who I've worked with, women who have gone through breakups or divorces after long-term relationships, long-term committed relationships. And also women who are just learning how to choose themselves for the first time, after motherhood. That's a big one. I have a really soft spot in my heart for that. But it's not about a man loving you well. That man will reflect back to you the ways that you are already allowing yourself to be well loved by life, creation, God, universe itself, and the ways that you are choosing yourself and remembering your own worthiness. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify. What have you noticed in yourself or in your journey, in your relationship or relationships, has cultivated an environment in which you can soften and glow? Otherwise, thank you for tuning into this episode, and until next time, here's to liberating your wild feminine heart.